It is 7:02. It is time to go. All right, everybody, listen. Tonight is going to be a night a little bit different than normal. I'm really excited about this, and every time I read through the notes and just make sure that my thoughts are down on paper, I get excited about it. And I named this class tonight Expansion. And what I did was I did a lot of really just, I don't know, the best word I could come up with is soul searching and really thinking about practice, thinking about who we are as chiropractors, and after 30 years and where I go inside to help expand. We're going to expand our practices. We're going to expand our way of thinking. We're going to expand our lives, and that's why I call this thing expansion. And I'm gonna say some things, and I'm gonna go over some things that are going to hopefully force you out of your comfort zone, and that's why I wanted to print the notes, because I want you guys to have all this, and you can print this off later. You guys can read it later, but you can follow along now if you want to. So let's get right in the middle of it. So expansion. Now, in chiropractic, this is one of the biggest problems we have, is the profession as a whole tries to be very, very mechanistic. And it was never intended to be mechanistic. There was never a mechanistic side to chiropractic. People came along, people went to chiropractic school, and a lot of them were medical doctors that saw this, they had patients back in the early 1900s that they couldn't help, and they were getting adjusted. So they went to chiropractic school, but then they brought their mechanistic attitudes and mindsets and philosophies with them. And then through the years, this is what's happened. But I'm going to tell you that it was never meant to be mechanistic. And so some of the things I'm going to say is going to push you out of your mechanistic framing or brainwashing. So let's start with this. I want you guys to think about this. Instead of practicing faith, a lot of times we entertain ourselves with procedures and words of office practice. Here's what I mean by that. Instead of walking into your office, and instead of practicing chiropractic in all 100% pure faith in the adjustment, faith in innate intelligence, faith in the profession, we take our faith and we set it aside and we simply entertain ourselves. We entertain ourselves with procedures. We entertain ourselves with trying to remember scripts and words and reported findings and consultations and exams. We entertain ourselves with therapies. We entertain ourselves with everything other than living and practicing in faith. And we're going to go into this more deeply, but I want to start with that one. In your offices, are you, chiropractors, are you walking and practicing and living in faith of what it is you were called to do? Or do you ignore the faith and just simply entertain yourself with procedures? Spend time with that question. We should have faith in chiropractic on the busy days as well as the slow days. The slow days are a test. I cannot tell you how many times I talk to chiropractors on the phone, or I'll get messages. And when they have record days or record weeks or busy times, they are the most philosophical, faith-based chiropractors on the planet. But then all of it takes is the ebb and flow of life to happen, and then they have one of the slowest weeks they've had in months, and all of a sudden they are doing Facebook ads, they are freaking out, where's everybody at? And they go into a scarcity, fear mindset, and then they become very quickly mechanistic, and they start running ads on, we can help your pain. I'm just using that as a gross example, but you guys get my point. Listen, your faith in chiropractic should never wane. Whether it's the busiest day you've ever had or the slowest day you've ever had, it should never change. You should never change, ever. To have faith in healing is a constant. I'm going to say this again. Every one of you listening to me right now, to have faith in the body's ability to heal should be constant. You cannot only visit this faith when it is convenient. To have faith in healing is a constant. You cannot just visit it when it's convenient for you. when things are going well and patients are bragging on you and praising you and telling you how great they feel, we have all kinds of faith. That patient comes in after, you see 20 that day, and the 21st patient comes in, and on the first 20, they think you walk on water, and the 21st one comes in, and they start complaining about how much worse, how worse they feel, how much worse the pain is, and how they didn't sleep last night. And you take your faith and throw it right on out the door. And then everybody that comes in from that point on is, how do you feel? And you spend an extra 15 minutes talking to them and trying to convince them that what you're doing is right. To have faith in healing is a constant. Know there will be days of results you see and days you do not. They are the same. You are going to have days that everybody is getting better. You're going to have days that no one is getting better. Those days are no different. One day is no different. The chiropractic adjustment does no different than today, tomorrow, or the next day. The articulation, the complaints, the expression from your patients and what they say does not change the healing processes of the body. You have got to understand and have faith in the healing process of the body, not the words of the negative, not the words of the uneducated, not the words of pain being articulated. That is not your job, is to confuse those two. I want you to give. I want you to adjust. I want you to pick up trash. I want you to go to the gym, and when you're working out, I want you to straighten the weight trees. I want you to fold the laundry. I want you to do the dishes. I want you to hold the door for people. I want you to be kind with absolutely no thought of anything in return. I want you to pick trash up on the side of the road or in a parking lot, and you pick it up and you throw it away because it was the right thing to do. I want you to hold a door for somebody, and if they walk past you and they don't say thank you, I don't want you to get pissed about it. I want you to do stuff, everything you do, I want you to do it because you were kind and it was the right thing to do, not because you want a pat on the back or a compliment or a return. What I'm trying to do is get you to expand who you are as a person. And we are not designed that way. We are not created that way. We are not trained that way. Our entire lives, if you do this, you'll get this. Since we were little, if you'll behave, you'll get this. Everything we do, from just loving our husbands and wives. So many times, I talk to so many of you, and it's like, I give and I give and I give and I don't get anything in return. I'm done. Well, what about giving and giving and giving for the sake of actually giving? I'm sure that it would be received completely different. Because I've got news for you guys. If you are giving and you are doing for the sake of a return, it is wrong and it's in contradiction to what is right. And whatever you're giving, whoever is to receive that is feeling why you're doing it. That is not being received in the appropriate way. And it doesn't matter. If you pick up trash in a parking lot and you look around for somebody to see that you did that, to get an acknowledgement, leave the damn trash in the parking lot. Because it is in contradiction of why you should have done it in the first place. What I'm trying to do is get you to start creating the version of you that when you are in your office, it comes natural. You make the adjustment. You deliver the adjustment from your soul. You do things. You help people with their jacket. You put their shoes on. You tell them how much you love them because you do it for the right reason, not because you want anything in return. This is something that we've got to all, and here's the thing. I think being kind is an actionable thing. It's something you take action on. It's something that you practice, but it has got to become such a habit to you that you don't have to think about it. I need to be kind today. Oh my gosh, I didn't hold the door, so I need to hold the door for 3 people to make up for some kind of lost pittance. That's not what I'm getting at. It needs to be a process of just be kind in everything you do and make it a conscious effort until it becomes habit. In all conditions, in your practice, in all conditions, situations of grief, pain, and joy, simply acknowledge, let's face down, let's check it, Brad Schaefer, let's check it, and then adjust them. Last Wednesday, I had a patient come in. He was one of my very first patients ever back in 1995, Blake. His mother was probably my third patient ever, Jan, and she has, I don't know if she's missed every 2 weeks in 30 years, other than if she was sick, out of town. I'm gonna just tell you that this woman was part of our practice, and we lost her last week. And Blake came in, and I didn't know, and he had come in and he lost it on me. You got to understand, gang, when this family started coming in, I was seeing 3 a day, and they were 2 of them, right? They watched me grow up in my office. Blake's daughter, I adjusted her, which one of them was 2, and the other one, when she was born, his daughter came in today. She's got 5 boys now. I mean, so you get it. This was, they weren't just patients. This was family. And I lost Jan. We lost Jan. And Blake was losing it. And he hugged me and he cried. And I hugged him and said, Blake, I loved her so much. Face down, let's get you adjusted. And he did, and I adjusted him, and he sat up and he hugged me again. And I told him, I said, he said, well, the funeral will be Saturday. And I said, well, or this Wednesday, whenever it was, Thursday. And I said, well, I'll probably be out of town, but I want you to know something. Your mother made me want to be a better person because of who she was for her. And he hugged me and he said, thank you. And I opened the door, and then the next patient had to come in, right? Complete grief. And again, this is like losing a family member, but it doesn't matter. You can't. So grief, joy, somebody comes in, and I had a patient today that she told me she was pregnant, and we celebrated that, face down. Patients get married, face down. In all conditions. I don't care if it's a migraine headache. I don't care if it's lower back pain. I don't care if I've been diagnosed with cancer. Doc, you're not going to believe this. They said I got stage 2 breast cancer. Okay, face down. We are chiropractors, gang. And this is our gift. When you question your ability to help, remember, they came to you for a reason. It wasn't a coincidence, and it wasn't an accident. I want to say this again. When you open your door and someone walks in, know this without a shadow of a doubt. It wasn't an accident. They just didn't accidentally fall through your front door. It wasn't a coincidence that they come to see you. You were chosen, and they were sent to you. So do not mistake your ability to help. If you couldn't help them, they wouldn't be there. Samantha, are you listening to me? Alex, are you listening to me? So many of you, especially our young doctors, you question your ability. But what you've got to remember, in all conditions, in joy and grief, in any conditions, it doesn't matter, face down, and you make the adjustment, and you have faith that was exactly what was needed. That's why they came. They didn't come to you because you're a grief counselor. They didn't come to you for any other reason, because they know innately that their bodies needed an adjustment to help them get through this. If you are truly present during an adjustment, after the adjustment, give it no further thought. It is now out of your hands. I'm going to repeat a lot of this stuff because I need you guys to spend time with this. Go back through this video and read these again. After you deliver an adjustment, once you adjust, give it no more thought. Once you move the bone, it is now out of your hands. It is now out of your hands. You have no more responsibility after this point other than help them up and tell them when to come back. That is your only responsibility. You tell them the truth, you deliver on the truth, and then you are now done. Unnecessary words and actions are nothing but a scam. You are putting on a show unnecessarily for them. Like BJ said, it's like shag carpet and drapes and all the fancy things. That's not why they came. They didn't come for your BS. They come for the adjustment. And once you adjust them, you are done. Make your intention simple. Make your intention simple and ask for what you want plainly. Motion, movement, and healing. Okay, that's all I ask for when I'm with a patient. My intention is motion, movement, allow the healing to begin. That's it. It's very simple. It's very plain. And what's interesting is throughout today, when I was with the patients today, I really paid attention because I knew I was thinking about our talk tonight, and I was really paying attention to the patients that came in, how long they've been coming, who they were, the conditions, the things they said, and I was really, really conscious to adjusting, and then that's all that I did, and it was remarkable how responsive they were to the adjustment, how grateful every single patient was, how intentional I was, but how intentional your patients become to receive the adjustment. When they lay face down and you palpate and you make that adjustment and it moves, they know that it's fascinating. It's almost as if they have more faith in what you're doing than you do. And if you had as much faith that they did, they're the ones that got in their car and drove to your office. They're the one that laid on your table. They're going to go out and pay you. Of course they have faith in you. But by you delivering an adjustment with less faith than they do is, in my opinion, contradiction and disrespectful. I want you to spend time with that. Make your intention very simple. Don't make your intention to make, I want them to like me and I want them to refer and I want a big practice and I want to make millions of dollars. If that's your intention, it's too complicated and it's too contradictory. Make it simple. Because here's the thing. If you make the intention motion, movement, healing, those things will happen because that is your pure, simple intention. And when those things happen, then those people will tell everyone they know and your practice grows. It's the way it works. I want you to think about something. Challenging conditions or patients are only challenging if your mind allows it. This is how you know if you're thinking about you, not them. I want you to spend time with that one for just a second. Challenging conditions, tough conditions, are only challenging in your mind. And if you believe that it's a challenging condition, it's challenging, then what you're doing is you're in that office simply for you and what you feel and not for them. I've had extremely, extremely tough cases through my 30 years. Some of them I literally, and I'm going to be transparent and honest, I literally looked up and asked for help. I don't know about this one. And then it was a simple message, just adjust. Do what you were trained to do. Deliver the gift that I've given you. And what's fascinating is my intention wasn't to heal them or to fix what was going on. My intention was, I've got to put motion in this joint. I have got to put motion in this joint. I've got to put movement and energy in this joint. That was my intention. And then the end result was miracles. It was miracles. The first chiropractors, you got to believe, they didn't have 130 years. You realize this year's 130 years of chiropractic. They didn't have 130 years. They had 3, 4, 5. They didn't know. Here's what they knew. They knew that there was a bone out of place, and their intention was to put the bone back in place. And then miracles. And that's what created this whole profession. And yet we forget this intention, and we forget our primary objectives to put motion in the joint, and then we get all sidetracked entertaining ourselves with procedures. I'm baffled. I shouldn't be, because it's been going on since the beginning of chiropractic, but I'm baffled with the entertainment of procedures and therapies and all the things that are going on in a chiropractic office, and the conversation And the excitement around the chiropractic adjustment is going away. It's not talked about. It's not practiced. It's not celebrated. It is in my office. I celebrate it all day long. There is no such thing as a challenging condition. It's in your mind. It doesn't matter what they bring you. Your job isn't to heal them. Your intention is that they heal, but that's not your job. Your intention is you get motion. Your intention is they start to move, but that is not your job. Your job is to allow them to do that. Every adjustment, listen to me, every adjustment every day should be a reflection of the true purpose of why you are there. Every adjustment, every single day, for the rest of your career, should be a direct reflection upon the purpose of you being there in the first place. And it always will be. Your practice will be, this is when I say your practice comes from you, not to you. Your practice is a direct reflection upon who you are. Your practice is a direct reflection on your intention behind the adjustment. Your practice, the volume and the practice that you have, is a direct reflection of the intention that you have, the reason you become a chiropractor, the reason you showed up. That is going to be really hard for some of you, but it is a fact. It is an absolute fact. Now listen to me. If you're young in practice, you've got to give yourself some grace, because it takes time for people. It takes time for this to evolve. You're planting your garden, and as long as you water your garden, it will continue to grow. But doctors, if you've been in practice 5, 6, 7 years plus, the amount of new patients that you see, the energy in your office, the volume you see, is 100% a direct reflection upon the energy, the intention, and the purpose why you are there. It was reflecting of your purpose. If your purpose is simply to make enough money to pay the bills, that is exactly what you will get. If your purpose is to just have enough money to buy a new house, well, you can make enough money to buy a house. But if your purpose is to change the lives of everyone in your city and state, man, they are going to come from miles around, because you will reflect that purpose. And the part of that statement that I've got to articulate to you, to stress to you, to put the exclamation points behind: every adjustment, every day, not just when it's convenient. Your faith will be tested when the most simple one segment adjustment is all that is required, Dr. Adam. Your faith will be tested. Your faith in chiropractic, your faith in you, your faith in the adjustment is going to be tested with the very simple one segment adjustment that is all that is required, and that's all that you do. I had 2 this morning, lumbar, 5th lumbar, both of them, 5th lumbar on the left. Toggle, bam, it moved, set them up, have an amazing day. I had 2 cervicals this afternoon. One was C6, one C6, C7 on the left, Atlas on the right. One movement, up. Do you have the faith in chiropractic? Or that 5th lumbar on the right, they got lower back pain on the right, they didn't have anything else, they didn't need anything else. And are you going to adjust that, and then you're going to manipulate the mid back 2 or 3 times and twist their neck 2 or 3 times and make them feel like they got their money's worth? Where's your faith in chiropractic? It will be tested. And I want you to ask yourself through today and tomorrow, through the rest of the week from now on, do you pass the test of your faith? Or are you entertaining yourself with procedures and manipulations? I put this in there because I need to say it more and more and more and more. Schedule a time to train every day. Schedule a time to train every day. Every day. You got to find a way to create a better chiropractor. You got to find a way to become a better adjuster, a better communicator. You've got to find a way to have more faith, more confidence, more certainty in your profession and who you are. That's why I created all these videos. more than any, I think more, the number one video that everyone watches is Personal Philosophy, Foundation One. I think I look at it and I think that video's been watched more than any video. And what's interesting is when I watch it back myself, I'm fascinated by that. And I think the reason is because it strikes a nerve. When you look in the mirror, who do you see? Because that is the catalyst for all the rest of the videos. But Dr. Justin Phillips, he said he goes through all the videos once a quarter. He goes all the way back through them. I know several of you do, but I know several of you have not watched the videos in 2 years. You watch the Tuesday Night Lives and you watch the morning wake-ups. Where's your green book? Who's going to be at the next adjusting class? You guys listen. The next adjusting class is right before Focus. It's July 24th, that Thursday. I should have to stop it at 50. There should be 200 people signing up for that class. Unless you're seeing 250 a day, 250 a day, then if you're not, then there's always room for improvement. Train every day. When you ask for something in your life, do not live in contradiction with your thoughts and actions. They cancel each other out. I want a big practice, but you spend 15 minutes with each patient. I want $1 million in the bank, but you go and you gamble every weekend and you lose $10,000, $15,000 a month on gambling. It's in contradiction. I want this person to heal, and you do everything but a chiropractic adjustment. And you might manipulate a little bit, but your focus and attention is not there. Listen, this is the universal law. This isn't just a gimmick. This isn't something you read about. This is as powerful as jumping off the roof of your house and gravity pushing you down. It's going to happen every single time. This law has been talked about in the Bible. It has been talked about throughout history, in every culture. This is a universal law that is true. When you ask for something in full faith, with great intention, with 100% belief and conviction in what you're asking for, that is what you will receive. But if you ask for abundance and you practice scarcity, you live in contradiction, and whichever one is the strongest is the one that's going to win. Or they're going to cancel each other out, and then a year from now, you're sitting in the same spot you were right now. When you ask for something in your life, do not live in contradiction. My heart is ready to serve 100 people today. In this day, it does not matter how many show up. Let's talk about a scenario. My heart is ready to serve 100 today. And it's 5:30 and you've seen 80. And you know you've got to see 20 more people in the next 30 minutes to get that 100. And that 5 that come in, 20 didn't come in, only 5. And that last 5, what did they receive from you? You said your heart was ready to serve 100. 100 didn't show up. So is your heart not ready to serve 85? My heart is ready to serve 100 patients today. In this day, it does not matter how many show up. You're going to have to go back through that. And tomorrow in your office, ask yourself, how many is your heart ready to serve? Without any intention, without any consideration of how many that actually show up. That wasn't what you said. You didn't say my heart is ready to serve 100, but if 100 don't show up, then that's not what you said. When in doubt or confusion, ask Innate to help you. This aligns your vibration with the patient's. The answer is always revealed if you have true faith that it will be. I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to break it down. If you're in doubt, or if you're confused on what to do, Simply in your heart, ask the innate intelligence of your body and of this patient's body. Ask the innate, what do I do? What is it that you require? We're going to go pretty deep on some philosophy here. The innate intelligence within this human being is the expression. It's an expression of universal intelligence. There's a tornado. Wind is blowing trees over. The tornado is universal intelligence. The wind is the expression of that tornado. You know it is powerful. It's what's creating it. So when we have a human body, when we ask this body, guide me, you are going to get a direct, if you're focused and you're intentional and you remove static, if you remove chatter and the educated brain, if you will simply be present and ask the innate intelligence, the universal intelligence that created all things, that can make anything possible, will guide you. I haven't talked about that very much. We're going to talk a lot more about it in the adjusting courses. What's interesting is I find myself doing this a lot in the office, and I've done it for so many years that it's become second nature that I really didn't focus on it. So it's like deconstructing, and lately I've been paying attention to that. There are so many times that when somebody comes in, they're displaying or they're articulating or telling me about all these different conditions and all these different symptoms that they're having, and I say face down, Brad Schaefer. I say face down. Then I ask, and it's not a verbal thing. It's not even a conscious thing. It's a heart thing. Guide me. And then I get this, Doc, how did you know that that's where I needed to be adjusted? That's exactly what I needed. How did you know? And I just simply say, it's my job to know. I want you to go back with this. When in doubt, when you're confused, just with your heart, guide me. When you do that, your vibration of who you are as a healer will vibrate with that who needs to be healed. You are a healer that vibrates in unison with that to be healed. And when they come together, you will be guided. And that's where healing comes from. I'm going to spend more time with that in the future. If you are adjusting to make you feel better, you will feel the consequences of your contradiction. If you are adjusting them because you want that praise, you're adjusting them because you want to get paid, if you're adjusting them to make you feel better, you will feel the consequences of that contradiction. Be a chiropractor with all patients at all times. Be a chiropractor with all patients at all times. Do not be a physiotherapist. Do not be a nutritionist. Do not be a medical doctor. Do not be a psychologist. Do not be a therapist. Do not be a marriage counselor. Do not be anything but a chiropractor. Do not be anything but a chiropractor if they come in with a migraine, a foot pain, plantar fasciitis, carpal tunnel, shoulder pain. It doesn't matter. Intestinal problems, heart problems, cancer. Be a chiropractor to all patients at all times. We're getting ready to wrap it up. And as I'm getting ready to wrap this up, I'm going to spend some time with you. We're getting through that fairly quickly to answer any questions because I know I went pretty deep on some things and I hope you got you thinking. So start preparing your questions. It is not the love of a successful practice that is important. Hear me. No, I'm going to go out on a limb. Many of you have been in many other coaching groups, and I love them all. I'm not slamming them. I'm just going to go out on a limb and I'm going to make a point because I want you to think about something. I'm probably the only one in a coaching group that will talk about this. It is not the love of a successful practice that is important. It is the love of the things that create the successful practice that will create the longevity Dr. Yini taught me that. It is not the love of money. It is not the love of lots of people. It is not the love of admiration and recognition of a large practice. That's not what sustains you. That's not what's important. It is the love. It is the passion of palpation, of finding the vertebrae. It is the love of spending time with an x-ray. There it is. There it is. Here it is. It is the love of the setup. It is the love of calming your heart. Be present. It is the love of everything we do to create that perfect, intentional, specific, focused adjustment from your heart to theirs. I'm going to share something with everybody in the morning from Dr. Gibson, but I want you to think about this. It is not the love of successful practice. Dr. Sam, Dr. Katie, Charles, it is not the love of successful practice. That's not important. It is the love of all things that create that successful practice. It's the love of every single detail. Every detail. Dr. Yini practiced for 62 years, and I'll never forget. We were in an acupuncture class, and there's somebody come in, and they were teaching toughness. I haven't even heard of it. I still think it's the craziest thing I've ever seen. This guy had this thing that looked like a turkey call, and he had it on his belt, and he was rubbing it, and it made this turkey sound, and he would rub his hand over the patient, and then when that turkey sound made a higher pitch, that he figured that's where he adjusted. Again, I don't know, it sounded crazy to me, this was several years ago, but Dr. Yini was so fascinated by it. He was fascinated by everything chiropractic, fascinated by everything healing. He told me one time, said, Tim, to become a master, you remain the student, because as soon as you quit learning, you're done. You're done. You might as well give up. Go away. And he said, for the love for the love of success is wrong. Fall in love with creates success, and you'll be good. Last thing, hear me now. All things are possible to him or her who believes. Believes. All things. They are less difficult to him or her who hopes. They are easier to him or her who loves. And they are the easiest to him or her who perseveres in the practice of all three virtues. If you get up every day and you believe and you hope and you love, all things are possible, gang. Everything that you could possibly want. I'm going to share something with you. There's a book I want you all to get. The Practice of the Presence of God. It's a little bitty thin book. Maybe it won't be for you. It has been a life-altering, mind-altering, spirit-altering book for me. It was revealed to me. I was reading another book. If those of you that have read Inner Excellence, if you didn't order this book, you missed it. It was in there. And I want you to spend time with this. But I want you to spend time with what we talked about, all right? To be a chiropractor is special. We were chosen. I've told you this before. We were chosen. But if we believe that, and I do, it's not a belief, it's a knowing. Dr. Gibson says this, I don't believe in chiropractic, I know chiropractic. And he understands that he was chosen. There's a much bigger power at work here. That's why chiropractic was never intended to be mechanistic, and we had to make it mechanistic. They had to make it a science, because if not, then it would have been called a religion back in the day, and we would have never been here. But the true intention was to connect with the innate intelligence. That's why they adjusted. That's why they had big practices. That's why people come from miles around. Don't lose sight of that. Don't be entertained with procedures, therapies. Fall in love with the process of the adjustment. Celebrate that adjustment. Ask for guidance from the innate intelligence. It will guide you. No, I cannot tell you through the years how many times a patient will come in and they'll say, do you think you can help me, Dr. Young? And I said, absolutely. I know you're going to get well. If God would not have sent you here. He doesn't make mistakes. You didn't come in my office by accident. You didn't just trip through the door like, where am I? And oh, by the way, I'm a chiropractor. That's not what happened. You were guided here. I was guided here. Understand that this is not an accident. Okay? Believe that in your heart. Know that it to be true. But if you doubt it, then that doubt is here and it's strong. If you doubt that, it is strong. If you doubt your ability, if you doubt your connection, if you doubt your technique, if you doubt your philosophy, but then you're a chiropractor and they come in and I need your help. Can you help me? And you say yes. Really? Doubt and yes do not work. Contradiction, and we wonder why our practices suffer. Okay? Last thing before I take questions. July 24th, schedule. It's going to fill. It will fill. July 25th and 26th is focus. Patty, you're on here. Amy, you're on here. We've got, I think, 4 or 5 of our foundation doctors. I'm going to say this is our 16th year. And after really, really looking at this schedule and the way it was created and came together, it was really a fascinating process that the universe brought this group of people to stand on the focus stage. You probably hear me say this every year, but I'm gonna tell you right now, you do not want to miss this year. It will be, and I know you can say, well, I'll watch it on a video. It's not the same as being there. You guys know that. This will be the year. I don't know how we're gonna beat it next year, and I'm not worried about next year. I'm not worried about the outcome. I focus intentionally on each one of these speakers, and they were presented and revealed to me, and it's going to be amazing. So that is next on our schedule. I want you to get on the focus schedule and look at, we got focus coming up. We got the next workshop. It's Kansas City in November. We're going to be in North Carolina next year. The retreat next year is going to be Cabo at LeBlanc. That is going to be huge. Make sure if you haven't already signed up for that, do that. But if there's nothing else, I'm going to answer some questions. So, fire away. I'm going to give you a couple minutes for questions. And then if we don't have any, then we're going to let everybody get back to their families. All right. You're making my job easy. David Waltrip, is there anything from Dr. Yini you would recommend getting? You know what, David, that's a good question. Dr. Yini really didn't have, you took his acupuncture courses. He didn't really have any information. I wish he would have written a book. I really wished he would have. I'm trying to find, and what's crazy is, all of his talks, we never did record any of those. I have an audio recording. That's what I need to do. I've got an audio recording that somebody sent me that I need to get digitized where we can all get it. I'll work on that. I meant to do that a long time ago, and I actually kind of forgot. Shame on me. So I'm going to write this down. Yini audio. David, I'll see what I can do to try to get that done. All right. Is there any other questions, you guys? All right, Troy. Let's see. For some reason, it's not coming up on my screen, so I'll read here. What is the greatest contradiction you've heard the profession this year? Oh my gosh. Oh, there's so much. Well, so here's one. Here's a great contradiction. There is and I'm not going to say which one it is. It's irrelevant, but this is one that just jumped in my head. You've got a chiropractic college. They changed it to university, but was one of the premier colleges in the whole country at one time. And on their board of directors, there's a pharmacist, a medical doctor, and a surgeon, and a physical therapist, and then a bunch of tech guys, and maybe 3 chiropractors on their entire board. If that is not contradiction, I don't know what is. So you got a pharmacist, a medical doctor, and a surgeon, and a physical therapist making decisions on what's best for a chiropractic school. Tell me that's not contradiction. That's probably one of the largest ones in the profession. Or else if you're going to, if there's anything, if there's any contradiction at all, I would think it was that one. I do not know why that's not popping up. Okay, I'm going to read down here. Eric, hey doc, what are the books you just recommended again, please? Okay, well, so you got to see my desk. So here's my green book that I'm spending time with right now. Fight to Climb, Palmer, 1950. That's the green book on my desk. I just finished Inner Excellence. Everybody needs to read this, especially the last probably 3 chapters, or probably the best 3 chapters. I told Shannon this is going down in probably my top 3 books. Focus this year. Life Without Fear. That's the theme. Fred Barge. It stays on my desk. I pick it up and I'll read 2 or 3 pages every morning. Okay, preparing for my focus up. But this is what we need. But the one that I'm in the middle of now, Practice of the Presence of God. And it's all, this one and Inner Excellence, you can get on Amazon. All right, on Amazon. Life Without Fear, Patty Barge. Post on here, Patty, your website. Get all things Fred Barge. Get every book he ever wrote. That's important. And Patty will, and then get your green books. Hey, Dr. Jimmy Campbell, just got back from commissioning. Let's go. Hey, Tom. Any other questions, you guys? All right, I think that is all the questions. It's 7:49. I'm gonna double check. All right, so listen, I appreciate you all. I love you guys very much. Reach out, get on the coaching calls. Listen, the last thing I'm going to say, and I have to address this because this is something I've dealt with here recently. And this isn't a negative, this is a positive, but I got to plant the seed with you. We don't live in scarcity. And when things start getting tough, we don't turn our backs and run. We reach out for help. Instead of trying to pull yourself in scarcity and protect yourself, step out of scarcity and ask the universe for everything you want and have faith and belief that it's coming. Don't go in and hide from, reach out and run to everything you want. All right? That's the last thing. I want you guys to have a wonderful evening. I love you all. Call me if you need anything, and I'll see you in the wake-up call in the morning. Good night, guys.